Good morning, YouTubers. John Gilkison, Aerostealth here. Wanted to shoot a video this morning on what I call post-Doomerism. and sometimes it's called trans-Doomerism. But I don't want to get into any sexual confusion here for some people, so I'd like to stick with just post-Doomerism. And the whole concept has to do with near-term human extinction. And I'd like to think I've kind of arrived at being a post-doomer within the last year or so. It's just been a slow, gradual acceptance. The whole concept of near-term human extinction came up for me about 10 years ago and I ran across Guy McPherson's work, and I actually met Guy McPherson in the winter of I think it was 2016. Me and my wife went over to his home. He was living in western New Mexico, and we live in southern New Mexico, and we visited for a day. And he also came over here and gave a talk to our astronomy club, which is a canned talk. I've seen videos online of him doing the same talk. At the time, I just felt he ought to be heard. I didn't necessarily accept everything he said, and I never have accepted the idea that anyone can predict with any certainty when the last remnants of humanity will be around, at least not at this point in time. But I've been coming to the awful conclusion over the last 4 decades that we're just totally screwed. We cannot get our act together. We've been talking about climate change now for 40 years and about doing something about reducing our emissions. And we have not. I mean, we've made giant strides in lower carbon energy production, wind and solar and so forth. It's gotten so cheap, it's becoming ubiquitous. But we're still stuck in a fossil fuel world, and there's trillions of dollars still being made on fossil fuels. And these people are fighting one hell of a rearguard action. They're not going to give it up until they kill all of humanity. I think. I don't know what it's going to take, but scientific evidence isn't enough. What's happened is our form of capitalism requires science in order to come up with new inventions and things that can be exploited to grow capital. And so they fund science. Capitalism's been funding science for the last couple hundred years. It might have been kind of slow at first, an amateur effort, but it went gangbusters in the last 100 years or so. And but the one message they don't want to hear, which science has come to the conclusion, is that capitalism and economic growth, endless economic growth on a finite planet, is just going to wipe out the biosphere. And they don't want to accept that message. They'll accept the other science, the science they can earn a buck off of. But they don't want to hear that science, which tells them they need to limit their carbon emissions. So this is kind of where we are. It's a collision. And since the 1990s, all carbon emissions have grown 60-70% or doubled, or depending on who you talk to or what your baseline is. And every year we keep having these COPs. They keep talking about limiting carbon emissions and so forth. It's just not happening. It's a cop out. So, and I've been an advocate for electric vehicles for several years now, and it's really disappointing in the United States, especially, to see the new Trump administration trying to kill electric cars and wind and solar and so forth. It's just beyond belief. But at this late stage in the game, but I don't think they can, because all these things are cheaper. And I think with electric cars, we're there. There's still, a lot of powerful propaganda out there against electric cars, but basically people on average are going to discover that they're just better. It's a better technology, they're better cars, and that some of the picayune things they're interested in are like the range, and I can't charge my car, drop into a charging station, charge my car in 5 minutes and drive all week, and drive 600 miles on my car, all this stuff. It's just nuts. However, that said, I will admit that even 300 miles of range is not enough for a lot of people. But what's happening right now is that there's new battery technology that's really coming on. It's not speculative anymore. In the next few years, you're going to start seeing price parity for electric cars. You're going to start seeing cars with 400 or 500 miles of range and charging within 20 minutes. And at that state, you're done, because electric cars are so much cheaper to operate. So I'm not pessimistic about the adoption curve for electric cars. It may be slowed down in the United States, much to our disadvantage. It's only going to damage the country, what they're doing. But they're not going to stop it. It's you probably heard the old saw about first they ridicule you, first they ignore you, and then they ridicule you, and then they fight you, and then you win. Well, we're in the then you win stage right now with electric vehicles. That's where we are in the next few years. They've been fighting us. So we're at the last stages of that. It's gotten ludicrous. And the rest of the world's moving on without us, and people are going to wake up to that pretty soon. So anyway, back to what we're talking about. What post-Doomerism requires is an acceptance that we're not going to do anything about our carbon emissions and about the apocalyptic climate change that's happening. And pretty soon, food production is going to be radically impacted. It's already begun. And that we're not going to be able to grow enough food for several billion humans on this planet. At which point, with the collapse of the biosphere and the collapse of food production, grains and things like that worldwide in the grain belts, where several billion people are going to die. And there's 8 billion people on the earth right now. And I would like to say this, and I have said, this is one of the greatest crimes ever committed. What these fossil fuel fools are doing. They're psychopaths. I mean, and I hate these Hitler comparisons, and they talk about, the Holocaust, and Hitler killed 6 million Jews. You can't compare anybody to Hitler. Well, you can't. If the fossil fuel industry kills several billion human beings, then it's on a scale 1,000 times greater than Hitler ever even conceived of. And all these people are going to die a miserable death. Starvation's not fun. And lack of medical care and so forth. Food, water, heat, it's a killer. And we're going to watch this unfold in front of our eyes. And it's too late. So at some point, emotionally, you may not be able to accept it, but intellectually, you know it. And you have to get to an emotional state also where your emotions are guided by your intellect enough to say, it's nothing we can do. This is what's going to happen. And at that stage, it takes a while, but you finally get to a conclusion where the biosphere and the planet, if there is such a thing, it's not a conscious organism in my view, but it's going to be better off without us. And that's going to be nature's solution to the problems that we pose to all life on Earth, is that it's going to take us out. And it's started already, big time. And it's getting worse. It's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. And people say, oh, maybe this is the event that'll clue people in and tilt people's viewpoint of this, so they come over. No. Yes, but it's too late. If we stopped all emissions today, it'll still happen. So that's the hard thing to accept. Because I have grandchildren. They're 7 and 9 years old. I got older grandchildren than that. And I'm sorry. I mean, I don't want to talk to them about it. I'm not going to tell them you're going to die. You're not going to make it to my age. I don't want to tell them that. 2060, maybe. I'm not a Nostradamus. I can't tell you we're all going to die on a Thursday, in 2059, October 5th, or whatever it is. I can't. I'm not doing that. But by 2060, I mean, if we reach 4 or 5 degrees Celsius of average warming, stick a fork in us. We're done. The whole goddamn biosphere is going to crash. And it is crashing. And it's already started. So that's all. I don't want to depress anybody. I don't want to panic you. And I'm not saying we're all going to die tomorrow and, oh, your hair's on fire, run for the hills. I'm not a prepper. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just looking at what's going on in front of my eyes. And this denial loop we're in about fossil fuels, we're all addicts. We're addicted to them. Me and my wife here have done what we can. We've got 10 kilowatts of solar. We have an electric car. We've replaced most of our appliances with electric drive. I think the only thing we're doing now is drying clothes with propane, and we want to get rid of that as soon as the damn dryer, gives it up. And I still drive a pickup truck for towing a fifth wheel trailer. But that's our insurance policy too. It's a bug out trailer, really. I mean, if we lose our house or whatever, the economy collapses, we'll have this portable home we can take somewhere. Who knows? I don't have a precise plan on all this, but that's what I'm going to leave you with. I've done all this stuff, the electric cars, the solar, and so forth, because it saves me money. We get $11 electric bills every month. That's it. I keep track of how much my car costs me. $20 a month in electricity to operate, and I don't even pay that. That's $11 a month for everything, So, yes, I can do more, but I'm not going to save the planet. No one is by doing these things. But you reduce air pollution, and you reduce the amount of carbon emissions you're putting into the biosphere. At least we're slowing down the rate that this is happening. And that's not nothing. It needs to be done. And I'm not claiming that we're going to save the planet. Don't get me wrong about all that. But that's There's other reasons to do these kinds of things. And they're very rational, logical, and important reasons. They give you more resources going forward. They give you more resilient. It makes you more resilient. So I'm going to leave you with that. That's something. That's a little hopeful. So anyway, come here, baby. Come here. You say bye to the people. This is our little caffeinated rat right here. This is Ripley. She's a mess. Take care, everybody. See you down the road somewhere. I rode my electric bike this morning, getting 2,000 miles per gallon. Yeah, it was good. Enjoyed myself. My wife's went in for a doctor's appointment, so I had the house to myself, so I wanted to shoot this video. So we'll see y'all. Take care.